What's going on, y'all? Back again, 100 Ways to Live podcast. Your boy Christopher. I have a special guest here, y'all. This is a special guest. Y'all may know him as Lil Tukey, 45th and LeClaire, Chicago's own, my dog, KJ.
My
How you
man.
doing, brother?
What's going on, bro?
All right, so look, check this out, y'all. This is special. This is a special guest. This guy's my brother, man. We've built quite a bond over the years. We've connected on many different levels, but I feel like his story, I've heard bits and pieces of the story, but to hear it in chronological order, I think it's something that y'all need to hear. So welcome, brother. Welcome.
Appreciate you, man.
How you feeling?
Appreciate you having me. I feel
Oh,
good.
man, you know it. So I want to get right into it, man. I want to get right into it. You know, when do you feel like you started working out? At what age did you start working out? I'll start there.
I think I first started working out, I was 13 going on 14 because I
Okay.
was 8th grade going into my high school, my freshman high school year. You know, I ain't never been a big dude, so I was like, man, I want to be ready for high school. I want to be in shape. So I don't know what it was, but that summer I started hitting it hard.
Okay. So hold on, let me cut you off. So you 8th grade, you start working out.
Yep.
What put that in front of you? Like, how did that even, like, how you even start thinking, all right, I want to work out?
Yep. Well, my pops, he always trained. He always worked out, really before I was born.
Okay, so
So
your
when-
pops was a big guy?
Yeah, he was a big guy.
Big
When
guy.
when
How big we talking?
My pops is about 6'2". He was probably about 250.
Big man.
Yeah, he was a
Okay.
big dude. So
Okay.
when I grew up, he was always larger than life. You know,
Okay.
and I always saw this image, and I was like, man, one day I want to be like that.
Okay.
So when I started to get older, like I said, that 8th grade year going into high school, I was like, it's time. It's time to start training.
8th grade, man, like the people around you aren't muscular, aren't lifting weights in the 8th grade. Maybe the football guys are bigger, but what is the guys like your peers? What do they look like?
Well, it was a lot of my peers, they did work out because
Okay.
I wrestled all my
okay,
life.
okay.
So I didn't do a lot of weight training because they was always said, it was always that myth that it would stunt your growth. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
stayed away from, weight training a whole lot, but everybody worked out to some form of fashion. We played sports, we would do push-ups and calisthenics, all of that, but everybody worked out. So I was like, man, I knew going into high school, I'm like, I won't be the only one.
That's not working out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't want to be
yeah.
the only one that's not
Okay.
working out, but everybody was on it.
How much of this would you say, like the working out, how much of this would you say, like, talking to girls or being
Yeah.
attractive, like how much did that play into it? Like,
I mean,
because that's the thing. Like, let's be honest. We're gonna be honest here. We got to be honest here. Being attractive to women is a thing that motivates, especially a young man.
For sure.
A young man. So how much of that would you say?
I think that was a big part of it too.
Okay.
You wanna like now. I want to wear my clothes well. Or,
Yeah,
you want to
yeah.
look presentable. I don't know if that was exactly my thought back then,
Okay.
but I was like, I want the girls to like me. I want to be the dude with the big
muscles,
muscles.
yeah,
You
yeah.
watch the movies back
Yeah,
then. The
yeah.
dude with the Letterman jacket. He was swole and all of that.
Okay, so 8th grade, you start working out. Do you remember what your first sessions were like? Those early sessions, like were you by yourself? Did somebody come
Oh,
with
yeah.
you, or how was that?
My first sessions was in the basement in the house.
Also,
like I
okay.
said, my pops trained, and he had a cable machine. It had a pec deck on one side, it had a chest press on the other, and it had a leg extension on the end. So that's what you was limited to. And then I think on the front of it, it was actually a cable you could do bicep curls or whatever. The pulley was on the floor, so you could only do curls or certain things there.
How often was he using this? Your pops?
At that point, he wasn't even using it anymore.
Okay, so you just had full access to it.
Yeah, I would go down there every day and I was just doing my thing. And I had a couple dumbbells, maybe some 10s and some 20s. That's all I could curl at that time. I would just go to town all day.
How were you eating at this point in your life?
I can't, man, it was Hot Pockets. It was, it was Hot Pockets, man. It was whatever I can get my hands on. I just said, I need to eat. That's all people said. You just need to eat. So my metabolism was lightning fast at that time. So luckily, I didn't get fat, but I was not eating well.
How long would you say you were working out before you started seeing the impact of the workout or the results started to come in?
I think for me, in the arms, it happened fast.
Yeah, you always had the arms. Still, that still proves true today. This boy arms,
I
but
think my arms kind of blew up fast for a 14-year-old. You know, I was probably 120, 130 pounds. But for a 14-year-old, my arms kind of blew up fast. I didn't see much chest. I didn't see, much of anything. But I started to take shape pretty
quickly.
I think that first year, I got a little bit bigger, and gradually, by my senior year, I was 170 pounds.
What were your peers saying to you once they started noticing the changes? Like how did the perception of KJ start to change? Like what's going on now in the scene?
I think, man, like that's how I became known.
Okay.
You know, I became known
okay.
as a buff guy. Outside of sports, I was just known to be buff.
You went, so the wrestling thing get stopped?
Yeah.
At what age?
After I did it all the way to my senior year.
Okay.
But I wasn't the best in the school. It was guys that was better than
bigger,
me. So,
yeah.
But I was, amongst my peers, those peers, I was known for that.
Okay.
But all my friends, they just knew I was swole.
Okay, so high school. Right after high school, you joined the Air Force?
Yeah.
How long after did you leave?
Think it was I think I waited about 6 to 8 months after graduating.
You still working out in that 6 to 8 months?
Oh yeah.
Every day?
Oh yeah. I was 180 pounds. I had to cut down to 170 for my weight cap for the Air Force. They told me that was
big?
for my height, that was my weight cap. So I had to get down to 170 just to go to basic. I left basic 150 pounds.
Like, how did you find basic training? Because you muscular, but you had to cut down. How did you find like the physical fitness component of basic training in the military itself?
So what they had us do, it was primarily running. We didn't do as much calisthenics as I like. We
The
didn't
push-ups, the sit-ups.
We didn't do as much working out as I would like. We did a whole lot of running, which was foreign to me at that point. Because after I graduated, I was like, ain't no need for me to run.
What did that do to your physique though? Running.
The running slimmed me down a lot. That's how I got to that 150. I cut down to 150. It was all running, and I was the food that they prescribed us. That's what I had, available to me. So, but the running, that's how I dropped those 20 to 30 pounds.
Okay.
But what I did do, my boy Willis, I'm not sure where he is today, but I had a homeboy named Willis. He was buff. When we saw each other at basic, we was like, oh, that's gonna be my workout partner.
Okay.
And starting third week, we would do 300 push-ups every single night. 300 push-ups.
What was the setting y'all would do them in? How many different sets? How would y'all get to the 300?
I can't remember how we broke it up in sets. We weren't doing, it was a bunch of sets at first. We probably do 40, 30, 40 push-ups at a time until we get to our 300. Fourth week, we go about 100, and so on. And you have your final test in your 7th week.
Yeah.
So by 7th week, we were doing 700 push-ups a night, and it was 7 sets. We was doing 7 sets of 100, no problem.
So the test that we take at the end. So in the military, there's a physical component. You have to execute a certain amount of push-ups, sit-ups. You have to have a waist. Your waist has to be a certain.
Pull-ups as well.
Y'all did pull-ups? We didn't do pull-ups. We weren't doing that. Yep. And then what was the other one? The run time.
Yep.
So how did you perform on that?
My push-up test, I did well over 100. Willis did, I believe, 105 in 60 seconds.
Boys in there just pushing.
We was grinding. He did 105, I think. I did over 100. He beat me on sit-ups. I can't remember how many it was, but it may have been like 60 something. The run, I ran a 9:25, if I'm not mistaken.
Listen, to especially in the military, to run a 9 anything in a mile and a half is impressive.
Yeah.
That was the quickest time I ever ran.
It was for me, yeah.
So I don't remember the exact time, but it was a 9 something, 9:40, 9:37, something like that.
Yeah.
But I never ran that again in my entire career.
I never did again.
I never did that again.
My best since then was in Korea. I think I was 24, 25 at the time. I ran a 10:20 something. And that was amazing.
Yeah, that's a lot, man. That's to even push your body to do that.
Yeah.
Especially when you come from a background of not being a runner.
Right.
I was never a runner, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your introduction coming into the military. How did you find, what did the military culture do for your workout mentality?
Well,
because you're around a lot of different people that work out all the time in the gym, so it's different.
I was fortunate that at the base we were at Travis.
Travis was your first base?
Travis was my first base.
Okay.
At the base we were at, in my shop, the culture was everybody trains. Everybody did something, active, whether it was biking, people hiked. It was a lot of runners, and then you had your weightlifters.
Weightlifters,
So
yep.
we had a lot of that. I didn't work out with a lot of those guys, but that culture was always there, and we were competitive with each other.
Yeah,
Some form of
especially when
fashion.
you get into the office and take that,
yeah.
that top off and
Oh,
you in
yeah.
that sand t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
People see who's getting to it.
Yeah, and it pushed a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
It was older cats when I
sure.
first got there. I remember it was older cats, and they saw me, and they got back on their game.
Oh yeah, that it's like almost an unwritten rule. Like, you know, like the military culture. I can say this.
Yeah.
The military, working out on the military base and being around all these big guys, it is very infectious.
Oh yeah.
And it definitely makes you stay on your game because you know these people are here watching. We all know who's in here bullshitting, and we know who's in here playing for real on it. So, you know, just being in that culture, I can say that was good.
No, for
and the
sure.
military did raise us in a lot of ways. Okay, so now us meeting.
Yeah.
We met here at Travis in California.
Yep.
Not in the gym on base, but through the gym.
Yep.
We met through a mutual friend. Immediately hit it off.
Yeah.
First day we met, hit it off, and then we just started working out together.
Oh yeah. I want to say, when by the time we met, that was towards the end of my time at Travis, which was I was here for about 5 years. I had been powerlifting, so I was like, I've always had a bodybuilding background as far as how I started training. My first gym that I ever went to, it was I worked out with real bodybuilders, and they taught me so much, which helped me, you know, get me where I am today. But I had been powerlifting for those 4 years, you know, up to the point where I met you. And by the time around that time, I was like, all right, I want to get back into this bodybuilding style of training. So it kind of lined up perfect. And then we meet, myself, you, and Julian. We all started working out together, and it was like that competition. It was infectious. You were driven. You know, eyes locked every time we were in there because you was like, you looked at us a certain way, I think.
Oh yeah, I definitely did.
You were like, these guys are in this place, I want to be here, and you were locked in every single day. I was, you know, I'm seeing that, I'm like, oh, I ain't gonna let nobody outdo me.
And you know what, it's crazy you say that because whether people admit it or not, the people in your group, we always kind of rack and stack each other in a way. We always know who's the one that got this,
Everybody
who's
knows.
second, third, fourth. So I remember times we'd be working out and I would always feel like I was playing catch up because, you know, you've been working out longer than me. Julian definitely has. So I would always just feel like y'all gave me something to work to get towards.
Right.
And that's why I'm always appreciative of those sessions that we used to go through because y'all gave me something to aim for.
Oh yeah.
And y'all indirectly would teach me this is how you need to lift, this rest times, consistency, food. Like I started learning all that just from being in the crew, you know. So, but I do want to ask you this. Your powerlifting body, what did that look like?
Oh man, that was you know how it is, man. It's like I'm not bodybuilding, so I'm eating what I want. You know, it's Five Guys, it's McDonald's, it's all of that.
Popeyes.
It's Popeye, yeah. You know, as long as I'm 180, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
You know, so I ate what I wanted to for the most part. Throughout the week, my cheat days was crazy. That's what I should say.
What was you eating on cheat days?
That was the Popeyes, McDonald's, and Five Guys and all of that.
Okay.
Throughout the week, it was just tons of chicken and rice. That's all I knew. You know, chicken and
rice.
rice.
I think that's the most safe thing for most people to do is chicken and rice.
Because I didn't want to be sloppy. You know, I'm like, I don't want to be just all the way out there. So it was chicken and rice for the most part, meal prepped. And on the weekend, I go nuts. And then I'm back at it.
Both days, on Saturday and Sunday, you going nuts?
It could be. And then no cardio whatsoever, because who does that as a powerlifter?
Yeah, as a powerlifter. And even me, not to say I wasn't a powerlifter, but I never did any cardio.
Right.
I never
at
did
that time,
any cardio.
I did not either.
The only cardio I would do is if the squadron or the unit made us do PT, we had to run, or a PT test.
A PT test.
That was it.
Yeah.
And you got to think, so for me, I joined the military, I was 142 pounds.
Oh, man.
You know, I was this close from being on the eating waiver. They made you lose weight to come in.
Man.
They telling me I need to gain it.
Yeah.
So for me to go, I remember one year, I went from 170 on a PT test to 190.
Yeah.
And I just remember running around the track and my knees hurting. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't do this.
Yeah.
You know, I can't keep doing this. And
be
around
laboring.
that time is when I started to really understand the importance of meal prepping and then understanding macros.
Yeah.
Like that's when it started to become introduced to me.
Yeah.
Because I had to find a way to get that weight off me.
Yeah.
In a decent way or more structured way, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did the powerlifting, then you move over more towards the bodybuilding. Who would you say you looked up to in the sense of for direction, like outside, the crew, like the Ronnie Colemans, the Phil, like those people? Who were you looking to for direction and like helping you learn how to lift weights properly?
It was like even when I was in the basement, when I was first starting, I remember having the muscle magazines. I forget exactly the name of them, but I would have the Ronnie Coleman ones and Flex Wheeler, Sean Ray, Kevin LeBron, a lot of those guys. And I used to watch on YouTube Ronnie Coleman's his videos.
Yeah, I remember his videos.
Undefeated or Undisputed. And I would write down what he was doing. I would write down every exercise. If he did a drop set, I'm writing it down. That's what I'm gonna do.
You take this notebook or whatever you write in, you taking this into the gym and you just following it.
I'm going right into the base. That followed me from the basement all the way to my first gym. Those were the workout routines that I knew. I would take it from either from that or a muscle mag, whatever they say that they was doing, and then I would try it out. Arnold, there was all of these Arnold workouts online. I don't know if Arnold ever did that stuff, but I would take those and I would go into the gym. That's what I'm doing that day. And that followed me all the way to Travis. I was like, that was my foundation. So that's how I know to do chest. That's how I know to do back. Whatever those splits were, that's what I know. And then from coming in the gym, you talk to people. It was a lot of our crew. And then some people say, this works for me, to do this. And I'm like, oh, I ain't never did that before.
Right.
Let me try that. Or if it's a new machine, and I got to learn this machine because it may help me to, get my chest bigger or get whatever I'm trying to work on, better. So then I would try to experiment with that stuff.
Yeah, okay.
But I did feel like I built a great foundation as far as learning. It was a lot of compound movements, a lot of dumbbells. I do feel like it helped me to build strength. It helped me to build size. And it gave me a foundation of getting my form together. You can't learn form through necessarily watching a video, in my opinion.
You cannot.
But I was analyzing that stuff, and I was like, okay, if whatever he did, whatever they did, I'm doing that, and it helped to some degree. But the powerlifting side of it, you have to be a form freak. You have to be a specialist in your form.
Okay.
Because that separates you from getting that extra 5 pounds on your bench.
Okay.
So I really nailed the form down on my compound movements and got strict about it, even with machines and things like that from my time powerlifting. And then it translated back over when I said, all right, I'm getting back into the bodybuilding style of training. I brought that back over.
Okay.
And now I'm stronger. I have the thicker muscle. I can move a lot of weight now. So now I just got to be smart about doing it.
Okay. So the bodybuilding, I know that there's somebody that you've always spoke about this guy, which is why I called you Lil Tukey when we started. But Tukey Williams and how he looked.
Yeah.
Them pictures.
Yeah.
And for us growing up witnessing somebody like that looks like us.
Yeah.
That dude was something to marvel at.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. I've heard stories about how he ate. I don't know if like they were on anything like juice and stuff like that, but I do know that dude was large.
Huge.
Large, man. Chest thickness. He may have one of the thickest chests I've seen.
Right.
And this dude wasn't even like a professional bodybuilder. These dudes was doing
commercial gyms,
none of that.
He was at the house.
But that's somebody you looked up to physique-wise.
For sure.
Who else did you look up to just from a physique aspect or standpoint?
Outside of him, I would say, it was guys in my neighborhood, growing up. But my pops.
Your pops.
My pops was a big dude. He was very intimidating. He had a huge presence. I was like, man, he walk in the room and your eyes get wide, because he's such a big dude. He always wore big clothes. You knew it was a beast up under there. But I was like, man, I want to be like that dude.
What does he think about the way you turned out physically, like the way you look?
I think he takes a lot of pride in it. I want to tell you a story. When I was working out in the basement, man, the stack went up to 200. And I remember being a kid, and when we lived in Chicago, in the city, in my neighborhood, because we took that machine from the city over to when we moved later, when I was in high school, out to the burbs. He brought it with us, because I was like, man, that's when I was like, I want to work out. You got to bring the machine from the city. And he was like, all right. But I remember being a kid and seeing him chest press the whole stack, and that would just blow my mind. I was like, I can't even move that. I can pull on this bar, I can put my whole weight on it, it won't even budge.
Yeah, okay.
So when I started getting older, and I'm starting to hit the chest press, and I'm doing it, I work my way. I'm like, one day I'm gonna get that 200. And I remember the day that I finally did it. Well, I had hit it already.
What was the lift?
It's chest press. It was
Okay.
like a bench press
Okay.
on the machine. And I called him down. He came to the house. I called him down. I said, man, I want you to see something. And I started pressing it. I hit it a few times. And he just stood there quiet, but he cracked a smile. And I was like, I think he was like, oh, my boy, he becoming a man. He done crossed the threshold.
Dog, getting your father's approval or respect,
Yeah.
and even though he may not have said much, but you knew what that meant. Like, you knew he smiled. That's something that, man, I think a lot of young boys are fighting for in a way. So that fact that y'all were able to connect through fitness and then you was able to get that out of him, that's a big deal. And I'm sure that meant a lot to you.
Oh, yeah.
So
but to fully answer your question, today, he looks at me and what's most important to me is the health side of it, but he looks at me and he takes a lot of pride in it, because he's had health issues now later in his life. And he takes a lot of pride that I'm keeping myself together, that I've stayed dedicated to working out, and he didn't get to train like he wanted to all the time because he was working. He worked himself into, damn near to death.
So wait, speaking of the health issues, because I want to talk about that for myself later too.
Right.
Well, we can talk about it now. How much motivation do you think you pull from your father's health? Like, how much of that you trying to stay away from that? You trying to stay healthy? You trying to stay fit? You trying to? How much of your, like the family health issues do you keep in your mind when you lifting weights or to go lift weights?
As I get older, because none of this stuff, everything that's happened family-wise has happened fairly recent. I think that's probably about, that could be 40 to 50% of it today.
Okay.
It's definitely in the front of my mind now when we talk about eating, when we talk about doing the cardio, when we talk about, just staying dedicated to training. That's definitely a significant part of it now because I'm like, I've seen too many family members, either pass away or get diagnosed with, with health issues that I do not want.
I don't want
to. I'm like, I've been working out all this time. My motivation in the beginning was not, I wasn't necessarily thinking about health.
You're a kid. You didn't think about health. Yeah.
I just wanted to be big. I wanted to be strong. I know that was a byproduct of it.
Right.
But now, especially as I get older, I'm like, I just want to be healthy.
And see, the thing for me is, man, I remember when I first started working out, so going back home and I would talk to my family, they couldn't understand any of my new lifestyle choices.
Right.
I don't eat this anymore when I come home. You grew up eating this, but I'm trying to explain to y'all that eating this is killing you.
Yeah.
And I'm not a dietitian or a doctor or anything like that, but I'm not one of those people that have adopted that mentality that this is just hereditary.
Yeah.
I think there may be things within you, but I think certain foods and medications and things may bring it out or enhance it. But I believe if you eat a certain way and you live a certain way, I think you can eliminate a lot of these things that you deal with, these health issues that you deal with. But my dad has diabetes right now.
Yeah.
And the older I get, like you, these things are often in my mind. Like, I'm always thinking about, man, like this, a lot of people in my family have had diabetes.
Right.
My mom passed away from cancer.
Right.
So I'm always thinking about these things, and there's days when I don't feel like going to the gym. I know I don't have time to waste. Like, you never know. So, okay, so beyond, the health side, with the family, what else is keeping you going today? Because a lot of people aren't able to keep doing this for an extended period of time. Think about all the people that we know that we started with that don't do this anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you think is keeping you going out outside of the health scares and stuff like that?
At this point, I think exercising, not just weight training, but I think exercising for me is an addiction. I think it's a healthy addiction. I would say so. But I truly think it's an addiction at this point. If I go a couple of days, just like we were talking earlier, well, since I've been here, I'm like, man, if I don't do cardio today, I'm gonna be guilty. I'm gonna feel bad.
Yeah.
If I don't go to the gym, if I don't, do this, I'm not gonna be able to sit comfortably. I ain't gonna be able to go enjoy myself because I feel like it's something that I'm missing. It's something that I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm getting small. I feel like,
it's crazy how your mind to do that. You'll miss a couple of days and just in your mind, you done fell off.
That's how it
you
feels.
Lost it all.
That's how it feels, but I think it's an addiction now, man.
All right, man. We went far, but I got to bring something back.
Oh, yeah.
Us meeting.
Yeah.
So we met, the crew forms. We all got the rack and stack. We touched on that. Where do you think you are like? Where were you mentally? Just like in your confidence level, in your physique, and just how good you were with all this around that time. Do you remember where you were?
At that time,
Because I want to talk about insecurities.
we joke and laugh about this, but at that time I was on a mean bulk. I was on a.
I
I had a
was too.
goal. I had a goal to get to 200 pounds. So I was like, it ain't gonna be no shirt off shots. And that day, we was asked to wear stringers in this
Ooh,
video, man. And I was like,
this is
I'm
bad. I'm gonna show
do.
y'all these pictures.
No, you
God,
ain't.
no, they gotta see them.
I said,
They gotta see the pictures just because look at you
right.
now. So it makes for the story. It makes for the story. They
I
gotta
said,
see it.
I'm gonna do it for my homie, but I was like, man, I'm not ready for this yet. You don't show it if you ain't got it in that moment.
Dog, our faces.
And yeah, I was like, I was confident that I was, I might be the biggest dude in the room or one of them, but I was like, I'm not conditioned. I'm not getting on no stage and taking my shirt off. I was like, I'm not ready for that. But my confidence was always there to some form of fashion. Like I know I'm strong. My thing is, I got the argument. I could say, well, I ain't no bodybuilder. I'm a powerlifter.
Yeah,
so you got to
yeah.
look at me with a different lens.
Yeah.
But I was not conditioned. Me looking at it back now, I'm like, man, I should have never been like that.
Should have never been like that. And the thing that kills me about that time that you don't know this, I was going through a crazy period at that time in my life.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel like I was looking the way that I should have looked in my mind.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm coming to the gym, I'm eating all this food. There was no structure, but I'm eating all this food, so I should be looking good, but I wasn't.
Right.
So I was dealing with a lot of insecurities in a way. Me and my insecurities are a lot different than I think a lot of people's because the way I show it.
Yeah.
You won't know it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a hater or nothing like that. I'm not a hater.
Yeah.
So I can look at y'all and be like, these dudes look better than me. Instead of using that to hate on y'all,
Right.
I use it as motivation.
Right.
And I've always been like that. But I will say this. I can say this now. Man, meeting you specifically, and then,
Yeah.
Julian, meeting y'all boys really sent me on a different course, and y'all have changed my life in a lot of ways.
I feel that.
So y'all were able to help pull me out of that mindset that I was in. And around that time is where I think I started finding ways to start appreciating myself too.
Right.
Because, bro, I told you I joined the military. I was 142.
Yeah.
So instead of looking at it through this lens, I'm able to look at it like, look at what I
how
have
far
done.
I've come.
Look at what I've done.
Yeah.
And then it kind of showed me, all right, if I can come this far, I can go further and I can get better, going this way.
Yeah.
So,
dude, I mean, we talk about racking, stacking, and all of that. Like I could always look at Julian and say, okay, Julian is bigger than me. But that was never really like my motivation. When we would go in there and we would train, and like I said, how locked in you were focused on making it to where you were looking to make it.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like. Because you don't want my physique, I don't want yours, and Julian wants whatever he wants. So I was just like, I need to go in here and get it.
Yeah.
If this is the workout that we doing, I need to push as hard as I can because I know he is.
yeah.
That was my motivation till this day. Your platform taking off. You've evolved in the fitness space in a way that I did not see coming. Truth be told, I knew you were passionate about it. I knew you were dedicated to it. I never thought that you would ever stop training.
No.
But I was like, man, to see you blow up how you are now, it blows my mind and it's amazing. But you staying down, that keeps me going. Whether I'm in Chicago, where I'm here, whether I'm here, it keeps me going every single day. We talk about feeding that addiction. It keeps me going and keeps me driven every single day. In recent, you were doing a cut, starting to cut down from a few months back. You started, and now you getting things dialed in. And what happened? I didn't say much at first. When I started dialing it in, I said,
I didn't even know it. I didn't even know
I
it.
said, I ain't finna let this fool, he getting dicey like that, and I'm about to be chunky out here. It ain't gonna happen. So I start dialing it down. That's that motivation. Whether
Yeah.
you think I'm bigger than you or got this or got that or whatever, that doesn't cross my mind. You know what I'm saying? And I know that's not where your mentality is today. I was like, my man is pushing, and he's pushing towards a goal that I can share. Because I feel like I need some of that too.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get on my grind. That you always put thoughts into my mind that maybe I haven't given enough attention to, and I think, why am I not doing that? I need to get back on this.
This whole stay down for everything, man. granted, I am in business and I am trying to, grow a brand.
Yeah.
But I believe in it.
Right.
In a way that I think I live it. So
Right.
that's why, and I'm able to stay true to it because it's just my mentality.
Yeah.
The stay down forever mentality is something that I wake up every day and feel like.
Yeah.
Whether it's for a job I'm trying to get, the gym, or anything else, I'm trying to acquire a property,
Yeah.
I'm trying to go on a trip like this. I gotta make this happen.
Yeah.
I have to make this happen. I won't be able to sleep at night if I don't.
I know it, because he's not lying. Because the moment he wake up, he done had me running around all day, every day.
No, like I just feel like it's just too much time in the day, or it's not enough time in the day, and you have to use all of it.
Yeah.
You have to use all of it.
Yeah.
If you're not where you want to be in life, how are you sitting down?
I feel you.
How are you sitting down?
I hear you.
That's how I feel with everything. And
Yeah.
we run and gun all day.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many different things to do. Okay, so the mentality where we met, where would you say you've started to, at what point would you say, because you always reference your time in Korea.
Yep.
You always reference that somehow, kind of like as your golden age.
Yep.
Why Korea? Because I personally think you look better now. So
think,
what is it about that time in Korea that you keep going back to?
So that time we met, closer to the end of my time at Travis, and I was at the end of my bulk to 200 pounds. I got there and then I said, all right, I'm gonna get here and then I'm gonna start cutting.
Mm-hmm.
I started cutting once I got to Korea.
Okay.
So then all that work that I had been doing in those months prior, as I started to cut down, I really started to see, the fruits of my labor. And I was like, man, I've never seen my shoulders like this. I've never seen my chest like this. And in the gym out there, they had some different equipment than we had at Travis, but the energy in Korea, everybody was working out. I don't know what it was, but the gym was
It's
packed.
a short tour.
Yeah, right.
People there for 1 year, they treat it like a deployment in a lot of ways.
The gym was packed every single day. And at that time, I ain't gonna get too personal, but I'm coming off of my divorce. So, the land is open to me, and everybody's working out, everybody's training. I said, man, I'm gonna look the best I can out here because the ladies is, they here. So I got on my game, and I got to a level that I had never been. I feel like I was crafted. I was honing my craft. We talk about all of that experience from powerlifting, the form, and the technique that I gained. I was putting all of that to work out there.
Okay.
And I started to gain, I started to come into a physique that I had never.
I remember you sending me pictures out there of you noticing your quads. I remember seeing pictures of your quads.
For the first time, I was like, my legs is blowing up.
Your quads and your shoulders.
Yeah.
Your delts. You've always had the arms.
Yeah.
But your delts paired with the arms just gave you a completely different look.
Right.
But them quads, boy.
Oh,
them quads started getting serious when you was in Korea.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, my legs is finally, I feel like my legs is finally starting to grow and develop. I could see the full teardrop in my quads. I was like, I've never seen this before.
And for me, with my quads, I'm showing my quads.
Right.
In every picture. I don't care if it's chest day, arm day, shoulder day. Right. You're going to see these quads because I worked them. Yeah. I worked them, and I'm building these things. This is what I got, right? I'm proud of them. You go see them. So, but for us with legs, man, you remember the time where legs wasn't a big deal?
I mean,
not for you specifically, but just generally across like just gym culture.
Oh yeah,
guys didn't work legs before.
I don't see that as much today.
It's not today.
You don't
not
get
today.
away with that today, but
you're getting lit up today. If
it
you
was
do
a
that.
lot of big sweatpants up in that Travis gym, and we had homies that they never worked legs.
Never worked legs.
They kill you in everything else, but they never did legs.
They a leg day. They skipping a leg day. So you explain why Korea was so pivotal in your fitness career or journey.
Yeah.
And now,
also, I'm
hold
sorry.
on, go ahead.
We walked. It was a walking base.
Okay, you walked a lot.
And I did more traveling than I ever did, and I was walking in all of those areas. And I feel like that helped out because I wasn't doing significantly more cardio than I maybe am now, but I was walking everywhere. Mm-hmm. I was out in the sunlight, fresh air, walking through all of these cities in Korea, and I think that made. I didn't even know it at the time, but that made a significant difference because I was burning all those calories.
You don't notice it because you're not sweating.
Yep.
It's not like this vigorous cardio that you would do in the gym, but just that. And that's why I tell people, the importance of walking.
Yeah.
Just go walk around your neighborhood.
Yeah.
That can make a difference in your physique and the way you feel, just the way
yeah.
you feel overall. So, but from Korea, after Korea, you moved back to the States.
Oh, yeah.
And what is your physique like, in the States coming back off that Korea trip? This is after the powerlifting, the bodybuilding. What are you like now? You've been able to put all this together now.
I think, they sent me to North Dakota. So that was rough. It was a lot of life challenges that came from being there. I think I did put some weight on that I didn't want to, just because I'm not doing all that walking. I'm still working out. I'm still training. I'm not doing consistent cardio, but I'm doing a little bit. And I didn't know what I wanted. I was like, do I kind of want to get back into powerlifting? Do I want to keep with the bodybuilding style of training? I was all over the place, and my mind was all over the place, and it showed in my body.
Yeah.
I put a little weight on. I was eating out a little too much, and it showed.
So another thing, man, that I don't think people discuss enough, especially openly and candidly, life challenges and just stuff you're going through in life and what that can do to you in fitness. Because what do you do when fitness is your escape, right? But life is so heavy that even fitness isn't even helping.
It can feel like a burden. We talk about
fitness
it
feels like a burden.
It can, and those days we talk about it, like those days, like, man, I don't want to go to the gym. Like I don't. You'll feel guilt. You'll still feel guilty, like I said. But I'm like, I don't want to go.
But you will find a way to justify it in your mind.
For sure.
Like, I need to take this time off.
For sure. It may very well be that you need that rest day.
You do need the rest, and that's something.
That day to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
I definitely believe in that.
I do too.
But you have those days where you like, man, or those periods of time where you like, man, I just don't want to go.
Yeah.
I need to chill. I need to figure whatever I need to figure out. Or maybe I need to do something else. Maybe it is taking that walk.
Take a walk. Go for a run or whatever.
This hike or run for a little bit until I'm ready to start back training. Because it does stress your body.
It does. But it stresses your mind too, though.
For sure.
Mentally, man, it's just a lot. Like, and people who don't talk about the mentality or the mental side of working out and stuff, I think you're doing people a disservice.
For sure.
By not being open or being honest about it, at least. You don't have to be open and tell all your business, but at least be honest about it. I skip the gym sometimes. I feel like I have to do it. There are sometimes my body is hurting so bad. Like, I just need to take this day and go recover, go do a recovery day, go get a back rub or get cupped or something like that. So you and Minot in North Dakota, and what was it like when you figured out what you wanted to do, like the direction you wanted to go in?
I think I did begin to dial it in, towards the end of my time there, but I didn't impress myself.
No?
I don't feel like I got back into that shape that I was in Korea. I don't know what it was, but I just don't feel like I got there. I feel like I got smaller. And maybe I did tell myself, like, I want to be smaller, for whatever reason.
To justify it in your mind?
Maybe, I don't know what my focus was, but I didn't impress myself at all.
Okay, so you were there for
2 years.
2 years.
Yep.
And then after that, back to Chicago.
Back to Chicago.
Back to Chicago.
And that transition period, getting out of the military, moving back home, figuring out the job situation. I'm still going to the gym, but it's just it's maintenance. I'm getting in just to say I did it for the most part, and it showed. Yeah. And then I'm coming back home, so I'm eating everything that I've been missing. The Harold's. We going to get the chicken wings. We going to get everything.
Harold's are hitting too.
Hot dogs. We doing it all. know. So I go through that period, and I told myself, I said, you know what, we got to do this. It is what it is, but I got to live a little bit. Yeah. But I'm gonna get back on it. Yeah, I never stopped working out.
No, you did.
Yeah. I've never stopped working out, but I was like, I gotta have a little fun right now.
Okay. And then presently, here we are today.
Man.
Here we are today. Where would you say you are? What you want to do, what you're trying to accomplish with your body. How proud are you of yourself too? I want to hear about that.
Man, I'm very proud. I think I'm about 80% to where I want to be.
Okay.
Where I want to be as far as conditioning, as far as size. As far as size, I couldn't be happier. I think I'm about 80% on the conditioning to where I want to, like we talk about it, I want to lose about probably 4 or 5 more pounds and see where I'm at then.
Okay.
But I think that's exactly where I want to be.
Do you know what your body fat percentage is today?
I don't.
Or about? No?
No, I don't.
How much you weighing right now?
I'm about, with fully clothed, today I was 175.
Okay, and you say about 5 more pounds?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So we had a fire workout session the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Where I feel like I was able to see some things in myself, and I was pulling motivation from you during that lift the other day. You don't know it, but I feel like the next time you come back to California, you're gonna see a different person.
What motivation were you pulling?
Just certain things, man. Your back.
Yeah.
Back is just, I don't know, dog. you know, like you always, like Julian will be like, or people would be like, man, KJ's arms.
Yeah.
I think your back is better than your arms today.
Oh man, well it's a great compliment.
But that's the thing though, and now I want my back. I've been wanting back, and back was a hard one for me.
Yeah.
Man, back was so difficult to build for some reason because it's so many muscles. The lat is a huge muscle.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the understanding of the insertions, where the lat began and where it ended. And once I started figuring that out, I was able to start targeting that area better.
Yeah.
But just the other day during that lift, I'm watching how you lift. I'm watching, you know, the negatives. Negatives.
Oh yeah.
I'm watching the way you do the negatives, controlling that. I'm about to. I adopted a lot. Just so you know,
Well, I
I
appreciate
adopted
that,
a lot
man.
from the lift. But you one of the few people that I can say today that inspires me fitness-wise.
Wow.
It may be 2 other people.
Yeah.
Julian is one.
I appreciate that.
But it ain't many people that I feel like inspire me, because gym culture today is just not something that I feel like is something for me to be proud of.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I'm trying to preserve something that's dear to me.
I respect it.
You know, that's why I can't do gimmick stuff. I can't do gimmick stuff for likes or views or stuff like that. So that's why I am the way that I am, and I want to try to preserve something that's dear to me and package that and give it to the next person who may benefit from it.
We talking about real people, you know, real people who train,
Yeah.
you know, real physiques.
Yeah.
You know, I can't knock what nobody do, and I'm not worried about what nobody does, but I do respect those who value the health side and value just staying true to doing it naturally. I do value that, and I respect that.
I do too. I think there's and as time goes on, I feel like that group of people who do value that is getting smaller and smaller.
It feels that way.
It feels that way.
But obviously, because of the following that you have and the amount of people that you get to come out and to participate in everything that you put on, the amount of people that support you and everything that you do, those people are still there. You know, that crowd is definitely still there.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And even if it's just that crowd, that's enough for me.
Right.
My people that come out and support me, they are family. I ain't gonna say they feel like they are family.
Right.
And I'll do it for them.
Right.
I'll do it for them. Man, but I appreciate you,
Man, I appreciate
my brother.
this.
I appreciate this. Love you.
It's made me happy.
I want to
bro.
say I love you.
I
Let
love you
everybody
too,
know
bro.
we on.
My man. I love you, dog.